Welcome to part 34 of the Ultimate Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, and more. The Lost Continent of Lemuria. Lemuria is a hypothetical lost continent that has captured the imagination of many over the years. Notably, unlike other lost islands and continents, this one was not originally a mythological idea, but rather a scientific idea. The concept of Lemuria was proposed in 1864 by zoologist Philip Sclater and was theorized to have sunk beneath the Indian Ocean at some point in the fairly recent past, on a geological timescale. The idea of Lemuria was proposed to explain why lemur fossils were found on Madagascar and the Indian subcontinent, but not on continental Africa or the Middle East. At the time, this was a complete mystery, as the leading scientific belief of the time was that the position of the Earth's continents was essentially static. Biologist Ernst Haeckel's proposal in 1870 that Lemuria might have been the original homeland of humans expanded the hypothesis beyond geology and zoogeography. This theory led to the popularity of the theory far beyond the scientific community. It was suggested that there may have been a land bridge or continent that once connected these regions, allowing for the migration of both flora and fauna. Further upon the popularization of the theory of Lemuria, others sought to attach an esoteric element to it, similar to that of Atlantis. Some people believe that Lemuria was not just a physical landmass, but also a highly advanced civilization with mystical and spiritual significance. According to some New Age beliefs, Lemuria was a utopian society inhabited by spiritually evolved beings, and its destruction led to the scattering of its people and the loss of their advanced knowledge. In the alternative, the destruction of their homeland led to the spread of their advanced knowledge to Egypt, the Fertile Crescent, the Indus Valley, and other sites. Under this theory, the Lemurians were responsible for the spark of civilization amongst the peoples of the world. This theory was also used by proponents to explain why pyramidal structures were so prevalent across advanced ancient societies, including those in the Americas. However, as scientific understanding of plate tectonics and continental drift evolved, the concept of Lemuria rapidly fell out of favor among mainstream scientists. The theory of plate tectonics provided a more plausible explanation for the distribution of species, as it demonstrated how continents could drift apart over millions of years. Despite its dismissal by the scientific community, the legend of Lemuria has persisted in popular culture and in various esoteric and spiritual traditions. The Final Hours of Jonathan Luna. Jonathan Luna, an assistant United States attorney in Baltimore, Maryland, met a mysterious and tragic end in December 2003. His body was discovered early in the morning in a rural part of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, in a creek next to his car. The circumstances surrounding his death have spurred theories and extensive investigations, but the case remains unresolved. Luna's final hours are pieced together from various transactions and sightings. He left his office in Baltimore late on the night of December 3, 2003. Throughout the night, there were records of ATM withdrawals and credit card purchases indicating that he traveled through Delaware and Pennsylvania. Notably, Luna exhibited an unusual travel pattern, suggesting something else was at play. He was not simply going from point A to point B. By early morning, Luna's car was found at a drilling company's property in Denver, Pennsylvania. The car was partially submerged in a creek, and Luna was found deceased in the water nearby, with his ID badge still around his neck. Notably, his body bore 36 stab wounds and a significant head injury, but the COD was determined to be drowning. Notably, these wounds were inflicted by his own pocket knife. The investigation into Luna's end revealed a complex web of personal and professional pressures that might have influenced the tragic outcome. At the time of his death, Luna was involved in a contentious drug trial, which had recently faced setbacks. Additionally, there were allegedly missing funds from a bank robbery case he had prosecuted, and Luna had been scheduled to undergo a polygraph test regarding these funds. Despite these professional challenges, Luna was described as a dedicated and diligent prosecutor. The theories regarding Luna's death range from slaying by the hands of another to ending by his own hand to a fabricated abduction attempt gone wrong. Notably, despite Luna having received 36 stab wounds, the FBI has previously come out in favor of the self-ending hypothesis, stirring controversy. Local authorities in Lancaster County, along with 2 successive coroners, ruled the matter to be a non-consensual ending. The case is further complicated by discrepancies in the evidence, including a second type of blood found in Luna's car and a partial fingerprint that has never been matched to a suspect. In my view, this case needs to be much more widely known and discussed, as there appears to be a very significant chance that Luna didn't do it himself. The Denver International Airport. The Denver International Airport is known for its architectural uniqueness and conspiracy theories surrounding it. The DIA stands out for its avant-garde design, notably its tent-like roof structure, which mimics the snow-capped Rocky Mountains and Native American teepee forms. This design choice was not only aesthetic, but also functional, aiming to be energy efficient and allowing the interior to stay brighter with natural light. The airport's art garners significant attention, particularly a mural which depicts an individual in a gas mask and a World War II-era uniform slaying a dove. Officially, these murals are supposed to represent the triumph of children's dreams over global strife, though some view them as prophecies for a dystopian future. Another prominent feature at the DIA, the Blue Mustang statue known as Blucifer, is a source of much speculation. The statue's fierce appearance, highlighted by glowing red eyes, and the tragic death of its creator, Luis Jimenez, add to its mystique. And yes, you heard me correctly, the evil-looking horse sculpture broke apart in his workshop, tragically ending the artist. While Jimenez intended the red eyes as a tribute to his father's work with neon signs, the statue's eerie aura has led others to associate it with apocalyptic symbolism. Further compounding the mystery is the DIA's extensive underground tunnel system. Originally designed for an automated baggage system that failed shortly after the airport's opening, these tunnels have been the subject of significant speculation. More grounded speculations theorize that there may be a military use for the base which is not publicly known. Other more spicy rumors assert that lizard people live in these tunnels. Adding in yet another mysterious element to the airport is a capstone set in place by the Freemasons, which includes a time capsule meant to be opened in 2094. This capstone features symbols associated with the Freemasons and mentions the, quote, New World Airport Commission, further fueling conspiracy theories. I note that officially the, quote, New World Airport Commission has never existed. This, of course, leads one to question why such a reference was allowed to be made on the capstone of the project. The Denver International Airport definitely leaves open a lot of questions, even to those who are not necessarily conspiratorially minded. If you're enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell. My goal is to make the most extensive iceberg series in YouTube history, and I want you along for the ride. Also, be sure to check out the Discord server if you're into that sort of thing. We're closing in on 100 members now. Also, if you really want to take it to the next level, please consider signing up for a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership. You can support for as little as 99 cents a month. Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee's life and promising acting career tragically ended on March 31st, 1993, during the filming of The Crow, a supernatural action film that has since become a cult classic. Lee, the son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee, was fatally wounded by a prop gun that mistakenly fired a real bullet instead of a blank. The scene that led to Lee's death was supposed to involve his character, Eric Draven, being shot at by actor Michael Massey's character. Massey was to fire a gun loaded with blanks at Lee as he entered an apartment carrying a grocery bag. Special effects within the bag, known as squibs, were meant to simulate gunfire impact. However, unknown to the cast and crew, a fragment of a real bullet had lodged in the barrel of the gun during prior management of the weapon. When Massey fired the gun, the blank's force expelled the bullet fragment, striking Lee. Lee was immediately rushed to New Hanover Regional Medical Center, where he underwent 6 hours of surgery. Despite the doctor's efforts, Lee succumbed to his injuries, dying at the young age of 28. His death was officially ruled an accident following a 2-month investigation, and no criminal charges were filed. Given his passing at a young age, and under extremely unusual circumstances, some have speculated that Brandon Lee was the victim of a quote-unquote family curse. Notably, for those unaware, Bruce Lee also passed away at a young age and under extremely unusual circumstances. However, Brandon Lee's passing is quite clearly an extremely unfortunate accident, while Bruce Lee's passing is much more unusual. Further going against the theory that any family curse exists or existed is the fact that all of Bruce Lee's siblings and Brandon Lee's sister Shannon Lee have all lived normal lives. Simply put, no evidence for any such curse exists, and all evidence points against it. Also, as a quick aside, it's hard to imagine how different the movie landscape in the 90s would have been if Brandon Lee had not passed so young. Admiral Kolchak's gold. Admiral Alexander Kolchak was a key figure in the Russian civil conflagration and the anti-Red movement. Kolchak came into possession of the gold in 1918 after seizing control in Siberia and declaring himself the supreme ruler of Russia. This substantial reserve, amounting to millions of rubles worth of gold, was a significant component of the Russian Empire's wealth during the early 20th century. Initially moved from Petrograd to Kazan to protect it from German forces during World War I, the gold was subsequently transferred to Omsk. The stash, which included diverse currencies from Germany, Britain, France, and the United States, as well as precious metals, is said to have totaled around 650 million rubles at the time. The historical value of Kolchak's fortune in today's dollars would be approximately well over $10 billion American. The fate of Kolchak's gold has spurred various theories and legends, fueled by its disappearance following his capture and ending in 1920. One prevailing theory suggests some of the gold might still lie at the bottom of Lake Baikal. According to local legends and some historical conjectures, a train carrying the gold may have derailed into the lake, sinking the treasure into its depths. Despite modern efforts, including the use of advanced submarines to explore potential shrekkages, the gold has yet to be found. That said, Lake Baikal is the deepest freshwater lake in the world, reaching below 5,000 feet at its deepest point, making exploration extremely difficult. Another theory posits that the gold was partially smuggled out of Russia by Czech legionnaires who turned Kolchak over to his enemies. While some of this gold allegedly helped establish a bank in the Czech Republic, no concrete evidence links the bank to the gold. The whereabouts of this portion of the gold, if it indeed exists, remains a mystery. The most accepted view, however, argues that much of the gold was used by Kolchak for purchasing arms and supplies from abroad, or was lost through various transactions. And by various transactions, I mean embezzlement of the funds. Notably, some historians assert that significant amounts of this gold were deposited in foreign banks across Japan, Britain, and the United States as collateral for loans. These assets may have eventually been seized to cover the debts incurred by Kolchak's movement, given the failure of the movement and the establishment of the Soviet Union. Further yet, there is no indication that the world's capitalist nations would have turned over vast reserves to their newly established enemy, the Soviet Union. To this day, the full extent of Kolchak's gold and its final resting place remains one of Russia's captivating unsolved mysteries. The Montauk Monster. In July 2008, the Montauk Monster captured public attention when its carcass washed ashore on Ditch Plains Beach in Montauk, New York. Initially discovered by a group of friends, the creature's photograph was quickly circulated on the internet after being published by local news, turning into a viral phenomenon. Also, if you're just listening to this video, now is your cue to pause and take a look at this unusual creature. The creature was described as having an unusual appearance with elongated limbs and a body size somewhere between a cat and a small dog. Its body was hairless, showing visible ribs and a seemingly beaked face, leading to wild speculations about its origins. Theories initially ranged from it being a sea turtle without its shell to a dog, or even a mutant raccoon or entirely new species. Experts eventually concluded that the Montauk Monster was likely but not certainly a raccoon, based on its facial structure and limb proportions. The creature's strange appearance was attributed to decomposition and water exposure, which can significantly alter an animal's features. Notably, this series has seen a number of unusual creatures which turn out to be the result of unexpected decomposition patterns. However, despite this near-positive identification, theories have continued to swirl about the creature and its identity. One significant rumor linked the creature to experiments from the nearby Plum Island Animal Disease Center. This facility is extremely controversial for at least two major reasons. First, it openly conducts biological experimentation, particularly in relation to methods to decimate opponents' livestock population in the case of conflict. Further, there are theories that even darker experiments are conducted at the facility, none of which have ever been officially confirmed. Second, the Plum Island Animal Disease Center is located just off the coast of Long Island and is close to many of the United States' largest population centers, including New York City. The involvement of the Plum Island Animal Disease Center in the Montauk Monster case remains simply a hypothesis at this time. Further, given the security surrounding the facility, it's unlikely that any involvement would ever be disclosed. Some more wacky theories indicate that the creature may have been a raccoon given a Viking funeral, though of course there is no evidence for this. Or at least that's what they want you to think. Anyway, over to you. What do you think the Montauk Monster is? Will-o'-the-Wisp. This is a recommendation by Discord community member Marsh. Will-o'-the-wisps, also known as jack-o'-lanterns and ghost lights among other names, have sparked curiosity across the world. These eerie lights are often seen hovering over marshes, bogs, and graveyards at night, typically described as flickering lamps that mislead travelers. In European tradition, particularly within British and Irish lore, these lights were seen as omens of misfortune or spirits of the dead. In Wales, for example, they were thought to mark the path from a cemetery to a dying person's home, often seen on the eve of death. In the Americas, similar tales can be found, such as in Louisiana, where they are described as souls returned from the dead to perform penance, but that have gone astray. Mexican folklore interprets these lights as the souls of witches or indicators of hidden treasures safeguarded by these spectral glows. In Korea, these lights were thought to be malevolent creatures attempting to lead travelers into dangerous areas at night. Scientifically, these phenomena are often attributed to the spontaneous combustion of gases like methane, commonly released by decaying organic matter in wet, boggy areas. Additionally, bioluminescent organisms or the luminous discharge of atmospheric electricity might also explain some sightings. And yeah, that's another form of ball lightning for you. However, these rational explanations have rarely dampened the allure of the will-o'-the-wisp in the popular imagination. The persistence of these legends can be seen as a cultural expression of the human need to give meaning to natural phenomena, especially those that are eerie or unexplained. In the alternative, others theorize that the lights do actually represent souls of past individuals or are a form of ghost. The Ningyo. The Ningyo, often described in Western contexts as a mermaid, is a yokai well established in Japanese culture. Unlike the often beautiful mermaids of Western tales, the Ningyo is depicted with a more complex and varied mythology. The history of the Ningyo can be traced back to various sources within ancient Japanese literature and art. One of the earliest recorded sightings was mentioned in Shoku Nihongi in the 8th century AD. An official chronicle continued from the more famous Nihon Shoki. This documentation suggests that the Ningyo was considered an omen, often associated with misfortune or calamity. During the Edo period, the creature was featured heavily in art, where it was depicted with a human face on a fish's body. Moreover, the Ningyo's mythos includes tales of supernatural powers. A well-known story is that of Yao Bikuni, also known as the 800-year-old nun, who supposedly lived for centuries after consuming Ningyo meat. This tale highlights the creature's association with longevity and immortality, a recurring theme in Ningyo folklore. Various other stories, both fictional and historical, involve powerful individuals seeking out the Ningyo so that they may become immortal. The Ningyo's powers are not limited to granting longevity. It is also said to weep pearls and have the ability to transform or lure humans with its appearance. It is also reputed to possess a mesmerizing singing voice. According to legend, the Ningyo's song has the power to bewitch humans, luring them into the sea, an ability it shares with sirens and mermaids from other myths. In some versions of the tales, Ningyos are shown in shrines where they are worshipped or viewed with reverence, indicating their significant cultural impact. For instance, the Tenshu Kyusha Shrine in Fujinomiya is said to house the preserved body of a Ningyo. And yeah, if you're not looking at the screen, you're going to want to pause and take a look at the creature on the right. Lake Hillier, the bright pink lake. Lake Hillier is a striking natural wonder located on Middle Island, the largest of the islands that make up the Recherche Archipelago in Western Australia. This uninhabitable island has a dense forest of eucalyptus, with a narrow strip of dunes to the north. The lake itself is 2,000 feet long and over 800 feet wide. What sets Lake Hillier apart is its vibrant pink hue, which is particularly stunning when viewed from above or from the surrounding coastline. And if you've got this playing in the background, you're going to want to take a look at the picture of the lake on screen right now. From above, the lake appears a solid bubblegum pink, but from the shoreline it appears more of a clear pink hue. Even when the water is poured into a container, it remains the same vibrant color. After its discovery in 1802, scientists speculated that its color was due to bacteria inhabiting the lake living off salt deposits. While it is true that the lake is hypersalinated, modern science attributes the lake's unusual color primarily to a combination of microbes. It remains unclear how or why this combination of microbes formed in this lake, and the lake is devoid of other life. Further, the lake's unusual coloration and salt content is speculated by some to be representative of a powerful spiritual or mystical force. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. As usual, I love you all, and thank you all for your support. I really appreciate how many of you have come to enjoy my content and continue to come back for more. Shout out to my patrons Noah Schubert, Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, and Blasphemous. Big shout out to YouTube member Jordan All. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.